sing songs about Virginia, but Virginia, she's always singing to me.
Well, that one's on me. I uploaded the whole music video and not the short and edited one, so that means I have to do more editing later. Cool. Well, welcome back. My once in a while show I do. Maarek, welcome to the JForte show. You want to tell people who you are?
Yeah, my name is Mark. We have a podcast. My friend and I, Bog Beef, have a podcast called Good Old Boys. You find us on Patreon.com, GOODOLBOYZ. We're also on Twitter. We upload some stuff to Spotify. Yeah, we do a kick stream every Tuesday and Friday nights. You know, the usual. The podcast grind, baby.
Yeah, it's an entertaining show. I recommend it. Well, I brought you on because we got something in common. We have a a shared love of the Old Dominion. You know, the first American colony. And these days, it's not looking too hot there. Some would say. Some would say it's kind of blackpilling.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a way you could talk about Virginia politics right now, and the silver lining. I honestly can't think of a single thing. It's genuinely just all very, very bad.
Yeah, especially it's looking kind of like this is actually going to go through with the redistricting. If I'm not mistaken, is that going to be like basically Rockingham is going to be like under Alexandria or Orange County?
Yeah, so it basically what they did was they just did like a snake tail for like 4 different districts that goes all the way back to Fairfax, so that we'll all be subjected to some horrible absentee landlord kind of representative. I can't. I guess ours will go all the way back to the people who live, the poor bastards who also live in Orange County. And then if you're in Page, you get the 11th district. The long and short of it is, unless you live in like Highland or somewhere to the southwest of that, you're going to have a libtard representative after this passes.
Yeah, it makes sense. Augusta, because Stanton. Ever since they got that Harry Potter festival, it's been kind of a libtard place.
Well, it's always been a more diverse city than the surrounding area.
Yeah,
that's the reputation that it had when I was young.
Yeah, the Shakespeare Theater. Say no more. Well, shoot, man. Have you heard any updates on like anything that's got anything, the bills that have gotten squashed or anything that's being rammed through? I have noticed there's quite a lot of Jeets that are pushing the gun control. That's kind of interesting.
A guy whose name is Aziz. I'm sorry, I don't have his name offhand, but his name is basically Aziz, and he wasn't even born in the United States, but he is in the Virginia. I believe he's in the House of Delegates, and he's passing a bill that would outlaw every kind of centerfire, handgun, rifle, pretty much anything that's not like a bolt action. Every semi-automatic centerfire gun would basically become illegal. I mean, obviously, if they pass that, it'll get struck down by the courts. But that's still 2 years or however. I guess the Supreme Court could act quicker. They have been moving to knock stuff down faster than usual. But you're just going to be playing whack-a-mole for years with these people trying to. They will try to take our gun rights and probably fail, but they will take everything. They can take everything else. They'll raise our taxes. They can remove our free speech. They can do pretty much anything other than the Second Amendment stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing I was looking at too, like all the proposed tax increases, which that's going to bite me in the ass coming down the road because my family has a family farm that's been in our family for generations. And God forbid something happens to mom, that's going to fall on me to, have to pay all that inheritance and property tax after that. So,
Now, are they, I should say, wasn't the state tax included in that? But of course it was. It's a tax.
yeah.
That's the one thing I mean, personally, I don't have to worry as much about because my parents already structured their wills and stuff to avoid getting hit by taxation. But you never know. They can always just do a straight up wealth tax. Like California is playing around with that idea right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
So
like
they'll get you one way, they get you the other.
Yeah, I was looking at like maybe a trust or something like that because obviously I have family back there that would be living in the house, but I would basically be the one that you know
Was on the hook for everything.
pretty much.
I've seen that happen. The trust thing that definitely works. I have some experience with that. Unfortunately, it's a bad experience. I'll just say make sure that when you when you have the trust, somebody keeps the paperwork in a lockbox somewhere because you do not want to have to deal with a trust that is absent the paperwork that was used to sign. Because well, whatever. People don't care about this, but they don't keep that stuff on file. You're expected to, and if you oopsie, you drop it down a well, whatever, you have to go to court to get that stuff settled.
You could lock it in one of those biometric gun boxes that they want you to have now.
Yeah, with your mandatory safe lock RoboCop gun safe.
Yeah. What's funny is, do you follow Tim Anderson?
No, but my mother does, and she constantly tells me Tim Anderson said this and that, and she's repeatedly requested me to get him to come on the podcast. Is he good?
So I first found out. So do you remember back when Governor Blackface was a governor? I can't remember his name.
Northam.
Yeah, Ralph Northam. Yeah, that's kind of where
Governor Al Jolson. Yes.
Yeah, that's where I discovered Tim Anderson because like Facebook hadn't quite started censoring everything. So when they were trying to ram through all the gun stuff back then, like he was a guy I started following, and then I just kind of I can't even think of the Republican's name. He's so forgettable. The guy that just served his term. He got elected, and then I just kind of like fell out. And then like Facebook, obviously became an unnavigable, horrible website. So I kind of lost touch. But then I ended up finding him on Twitter, and yeah, he used to be a delegate in the state legislature, and he's an attorney, and he also teaches like gun classes and stuff. So he's always like up on the 2A stuff. I think one of his videos, he actually thanked, he's like, if this law goes through, he's like, I sell these boxes. You're just going to be making money for me.
Yeah, I think he became, well, I mean, famous is a relative term, but he became known to people around here during the 2A stuff in 2018 and 2019. Mm-hmm. That was a really big, I don't know which neck of the woods you live in, but if you live in Virginia, you remember how freaked out people got about that, right?
There were sheriffs like talking about deputizing entire counties. Yeah,
Page's sheriff said he would straight up do that. Trump pardoned him for bribery accusations right after coming into office, which is very on the nose when it comes to patronage.
Yeah.
It's funny because all the stuff that they wanted to do then, they have the power to do all that stuff now. That they backed away from it at that time because there was still the risk of what happened and when Youngkin got elected, losing because you went too far. But I mean, shoot, they could just. I mean, they're already proposing to ban everything over 10-round magazine capacity.
Yeah. What was the other thing they were trying to ban? Weren't they trying to do the California thing too with like lawn equipment where they want you to like go off of gas powered stuff?
Yeah, gas, but leaf blower illegal. I don't know that they've done this, but they will banning gas stoves. I'm sure. Which,
of course, it's so efficient for cooking. Jeez, what do I know?
You have one? You have a gas range?
No, I currently don't, but we had one at the place I used to live at.
Yeah, that's all I've ever had my entire life, and I've used the electric ranges and stuff, and I know I can heat stuff up faster or whatever. No, no, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, it's just something about having to click it. That risk. I like the danger.
Yeah, when you turn that knob for a second, like, I wonder if there was a leak.
I hope I didn't give it too much. Yeah, dude, my wife's mom. So my wife's from Pittsburgh, and we would go when her mom was still living up there before she retired and moved down here to Tennessee with us. She can't smell. She has like hardly no sense of smell. And we were up there visiting, and I've worked in the trades, and other jobs. So like I've pretty much been inhaling sawdust and brake dust since I was 13. So I have a rough time smelling too. But we get to her house to visit and walk in the front door, and I'm like, oh my God, there's a gas leak. I was like, that's bad if I could smell it. And it turns out her house is like built in like 1920 something, and all the gas lines were copper. I don't know if you know, but copper likes to leak.
Yeah.
So
That's funny, man, because I don't know if I ever mentioned it on the podcast because it's kind of a weird thing. I'm the same way as your mother. I have very, very, very weak sense of smell. I have no idea why I've been like that my entire life. It's not really a problem 99.9% of the time because it's very rare someone will go like, "Oh my goodness, do you smell that?" and it's a good smell. So
right.
like, it's kind of a blessing there. But yeah, I have like 3 carbon monoxide detectors for just that reason because I figure if my gas stove or my oil boiler ever started leaking, I would definitely die before I smelled it.
Yeah, the silent killer they call it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I can smell some. It's funny the things I can smell. My kids are older and out of diapers now, but like I could always, smell a dirty diaper. If there's like we live out rurally, so I smell skunks all the time. But yeah, none of the good smells I can really smell.
That
That's my
makes
curse.
sense. That's always how it works.
Yeah.
I guess from a biological standpoint, that makes sense. It's way more important that you're able to smell something that's going to kill you than to be able to smell the roses.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, heavy machinery too. So like my hearing, it's not shot, but it's not like it used to be, but it's just so funny because like, we have a farm here, so I always have to worry about predators. And like I can get up to go to the bathroom at night and like just flush the toilet wrong, or the door makes a creak and it wakes my wife up. Tongue-tied, wakes my wife up, and then whatever. But then there could be coyotes howling outside the window, and she'll sleep through it like a baby. And meanwhile, I'm like wide awake, ready to go.
Now, that's funny because you're from the area, so if anything, you should be used to that and not. But I guess it's your job to get up and go shoot the coyotes. So I guess it would make more sense if you're attuned to it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I always wondered about the old guys, like our parents and grandparents' generation, who would just shoot 24/7 without any ear protection at all. How did they not? I mean, obviously they did have hearing damage, but how did they not go completely deaf after doing that?
Well, I mean, I kind of did that growing up too. You kind of just get used to the tinnitus. It just becomes background noise at that point.
Based, I guess. Yeah, you just put up with it.
Yeah. Well, I do wear hearing protection more now, mainly because I shoot with the kids, and I want to model good stuff so they can copy their dad. So.
Yeah, my mom was always serious about that when we would shoot. She would make you wear the stupid well, I thought they were stupid. The headphone style ear pro I mean, people did use it back then, but most people didn't. They would use, if anything, the little pill-sized earplugs that you use in the trades or whatever.
Yeah, little foamies.
Yeah, but I gotta say, it worked out because I didn't go deaf when we were shooting the high-powered rifles constantly. Let me ask you this, because Everybody I knew had one of these. We're talking like 90s, early 90s and stuff. When you want your outdoor furniture for shooting, you get a big old spool that used to have wire on it. You know what I'm talking about? The giant
Yeah.
one. Did you have one of those in the backyard too?
No, we didn't. What are you talking about? Like measuring off range or something?
No. I mean, like the actual wooden spool that used to hold the wire. Flip that thing over on its side, and it's like basically redneck lawn furniture.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandparents had one of those.
Yeah.
I had a picnic table I would shoot from because we had like on my family's farm. There's like this big field across in front of the house, and I had like trained my rifle, zeroed it in for like 300-yard shots, so I could hit any deer. You know, just come out like going to work or school one day, and it's like, oh hey, there's a deer. I'm already zeroed in.
Would you shoot them and clean them before you went to work, or just? Well,
Yeah, if it's cold enough, like I could usually just get away with gutting it and just hanging it in the garage till I get home.
my goodness. Oh yeah. Well, I guess that's another thing that while we're doomering about Virginia, that one of those laws contains a provision that you can't shoot if you have less than 3 acres of land or something like that.
I think it was 5 acres, but that's ridiculous.
It's like that's almost everybody.
It's basically outlawing recreational shooting on your own property.
Yeah, good luck. Well, I would say good luck enforcing that, but you probably would be able to enforce it in places where you have a friendly sheriff's office to them. It'd pretty hard to enforce that. I think anywhere south of like Winchester, though.
Yeah, especially some of the more rural areas. And then you get back like towards some of the hollers too.
I'm curious if we'll have the political movements that we got last time, because they were serious. Like we had our largest county commissioners meeting in Rockingham County ever was during.
I remember my I had actually had family that was there.
Oh, at the high school?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, yeah. You weren't the only one. Yeah.
And also the lobby day when what was it, like 30,000 people? I had friends that went to that too.
I remember.
Alex Jones was there.
And people were doomering on Twitter saying, "Don't go there. It's going to be horrible." I mean, I didn't go because I wasn't going to drive all the way to Richmond to do that. But
I hate Richmond.
Nothing. Yeah. The first time I ever went there and got out of my vehicle, I was a kid, and it was they had a state. I'm not mistaken. It was a state. There was a state fair there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. It's been a minute, and I went there and I got I got into an altercation, a racial altercation, pretty much immediately. Sorry, excuse me. There we go. Yeah, immediately I got shoulder bumped by a black kid, and I said, "Hey, what are you doing? You can't just run into people," because I was from a civilized part of the state.
Yeah.
And my we were there. I was with my friend, his dad, and my dad. He goes, "Hey, no, don't do that. Just let it go. You don't understand. You're not. This is an away game. You're not in Rockingham anymore. Someone will stab you to death."
It's kind of like when you go Richmond or Tidewater. I've had some interesting trips to the beach. That.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. The first time I tried to drive to Virginia Beach, well, I was old enough to drive, and we went to Virginia Beach on our own. Immediately driving, once you get off the boardwalk, the boardwalk street, you're in Rhodesia, right? And some kid just walks out and just hucks a rock and hits my, what was it, 87 or 88 Camaro, just like right in the front panel. Put a dent in it. I was furious.
Okay.
But what can you do?
What? I had an 87 IROC Camaro.
Was it white?
Mine was black.
Well, there you go. Wasn't the same one, but I love that vehicle. I wish I could. I got rid of it because you don't need that kind of car when you're a teenager. I got like 3 speeding tickets in the course of half of a year. Yeah. And so I got rid of it. But I missed that car. It was the most fun vehicle I have ever had by a country mile.
Did you have automatic or a manual?
Automatic. But
So
I had T-tops.
okay, mine wasn't T-top, but the automatics came with a 350 engine. Because I know the manuals you couldn't get the bigger engine. I think it only had like a 305 or something for the manuals.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a
that
sweet
thing
car.
could haul ass. It was. It could haul ass, man. We used to be a proper country.
Yeah, cool story about that. So that was like my second vehicle, but my first vehicle, I had a '96 F250. But the funny story about that Camaro. So I may or may not have had a parent who was into cockfighting. And this is the days when it was still legal, so you could win a lot of money. And he won a derby and won enough cash to buy that car outright as a gift for my mom in the '80s.
I didn't know it was ever legal, but that makes sense because when I was a kid, our neighbors had fighting roosters. I just always assumed it was illegal.
Up until the year 2000, it was like legal in 6 states: Virginia, Kentucky, Oklahoma, not New Orleans, Louisiana, Arizona. I can't remember the other one, but I know there were 6 states. But like technically, the gambling aspect of it was not legal. Prize money was legal.
So yeah, it was not illegal. It was not illegal to fight them. It was just legal to bet on them, which makes it functionally illegal to do any of it because no one's in it for love of the game.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny because like my dad did that and then he got out of it and he was into like drag racing cars too. And but he stayed breeding the chickens and he would sell them. Like we would have people come from all over the world to buy, a rooster and some hens so they could breed. And then they would pay some patronage. Say they go and win a bunch of money at a derby somewhere else, they would give us gifts. Like I remember coming home from school one day and we had a peacock. It's like, why do we have a peacock? And he's like, well, you remember the Filipino guy? He gave it to us. It's like, okay, cool. Came home from school one day. We have a pony now. I'm like, okay, cool.
Wow. The peacock, I can see. A pony. That must have been. He must have won something big to afford to give you a pony.
Yeah.
Man, those were the days.
They basically had like a Sports Illustrated type of book for cockfighting. And like my dad has been featured in it a few times. I need to dig those out next time I'm up visiting mom.
I think that it was still going on, but it wasn't. Obviously, after they made it illegal, I'm sure that I did notice fewer people had them, but it wasn't until B. Hussein Obama made it a felony that people really started getting out of the game.
That's when they started doing raids. I know some guys. I'm not here to judge morality on it either way. It's just a thing that like hell they used to call it the sport of kings. Like royalty in England used to do it, and then they brought it over here like Jefferson and Washington. But yeah, they started doing the raids. I mean, it's kind of a cool little story to be able to tell people because you tell someone that I'm like from another world to them.
I'll be the bad guy and say, yeah. It's not a nice thing to do, but on the other hand, chickens are so dumb that I wouldn't feel bad about it in the way like dog fighting. I feel that's straight up evil.
I don't like that. Yeah.
They're social animals. They're very trusting of people, and then the way they raise them and train them is dangerous. And they kill people. They will take people's pets and kill them. With the chicken, I mean, yeah, the chicken's suffering, but if you've ever been on the farm and you've seen how stupid and mean chickens are just naturally, they're pretty evil creatures. I don't really feel bad for them. Maybe that's a lower level of moral development for me, but that's just how I feel about it.
I tend to agree. I don't have any. I don't really don't. I'm indifferent. I'm just kind of like desensitized to it all. But yeah, dog fighting definitely sucks. Cockfighting, I'm indifferent. I don't have any urge to want to do it. I just thought that was kind of a weird, cool thing that I got to be around growing up.
Well, we talked about this in the podcast before in the context of, we've gutted a deer, we gutted a bear, stuff like that. Although I don't hunt anymore, so I haven't hunted for a very long time. So if I had to dress a deer now, it would probably gross me out because it's been so long since I did it. But if I think Bog Beef made the point. If you took someone who had like lived in the city and never seen a dead animal aside from something, was it a roadkill on the side of the highway, you could probably make them throw up by just having them watch you gut a deer, because it is nasty, but it's something you just get used to if it's part of your everyday life, especially when you get used to it when you're young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a buddy who his dad took him hunting when we were kids, and he killed his first deer, and then he became a vegetarian after that.
I mean, it is gross. Even the old timers now mostly take theirs to get them processed. Like, yeah, they'll gut them and stuff, but they don't tend to butcher them the way they used to.
Yeah,
just pay some Mexicans to do it at the place that processes like you can take them just about any kind of animal, and then get the meat back in those nice little vacuum sealed packages.
Or take it to a Mennonite like my family does.
Oh, nice. That makes sense. People do that around here too. I guess are they near Dayton?
Yeah, Dayton adjacent.
Yeah. Exactly. It's so funny with the Mennonites. It's not as much with the Mennonites. I see people talk about the Amish. Like, there are a lot of people on Twitter who don't like the Amish, which I find bizarre. Because I've never in my life had a bad experience with a Mennonite. They just kind of they're more friendly by far than like your average English person or whatever they call us. But there are people who just who do not like them. I don't know if that's just a pure hater attitude, or maybe they got charged more money than they thought they should for some work or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I know they charge good money for, like, if you buy like handmade tools from them, but I mean, most of them are quality.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the thing. This is a general problem with people now. They think like, oh, that's too expensive. Well, it's not if you think about the actual value of money now. You're paying the same price you would have paid in the 80s for something of similar quality. You're just used to buying Chinese crap.
Yeah, from Harbor Freight.
Yeah, exactly. Which is fine for some things. Some things just don't matter that much. But other things, I probably want a good Vice. I want a good. I don't think I want to cheap out on that.
I think we're going to go back more to like buying stuff or trying to repair things. Cause like, the whole, like, it breaks, we'll just buy a new thing. Everything's got planned obsolescence built into it now, lesser quality. With like, if there's going to be like any shortages with like all the global shipping and anything coming down the road, like I think like people that can repair, appliances and tools are going to, have a avenue to make some good money.
Have you ever tried to get a lawnmower repaired in the last couple of years?
I have.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you take it to a Mennonite?
No, I took it there. There's a guy down here in Tennessee I take it to that lives near me. He's they were pretty good. The only thing I've had problems with is I had an electric chainsaw go out, and it took forever to get a new wiring harness for it. And I had to get that shipped from China, and then they shipped the wrong part. Then I had to wait another 6 weeks to get the right part. So it was the height of like, when everything's growing and you need to cut it. And I'm like, well, I'm without a chainsaw for 3 months. That's cool. Everything's going to be overgrown.
Exactly when it happens. I repaired. I had a Craftsman mower that it was a couple good years old, but it didn't have many hours put onto it. I wasn't going crazy with it or anything. I had a pretty small yard at the time, and I took it to three different times to try to get it repaired, and all three times I shelled out money, and it was not actually fixed. And at that point, I just gave up and bought one used from somebody. And I hated to do it because it was. I ended up giving it to a local pastor he fixes them up and sells them and stuff for his his church. And so I just said, if you haul this away for me, you can have it. I'm so sick of dealing with it. It's depressing, but every year there are fewer guys around who are reliable, who can do that. And I'm sure you could, if you knew the right, if you had the right connections, you could find some Mexican guy to do a half-ass job or rip you off on Facebook Marketplace. But it used to be pretty easy to find somebody who worked on small engines and could do that for you and do it for you relatively cheaply. Not so much anymore, and that'll have to change as the American empire declines. It just simply has to change.
Yeah, we've been living the gravy train. Well, for the most part, for a while, and then I don't know, man. It's gonna be squirrely these next few years.
My best advice for people like us who live in Virginia is just kind of accept that it's probably never going to get better in our lifetimes, and just look at it this way: when the Democrats are in charge, your property values are going to go way up because all the stuff they do will cause your house. You just treat your house as an investment. And in a couple of years we'll sell them and move to West Virginia and be happy. That's. I guess you don't have to worry about it down in Tennessee, but for the rest of us poor bastards still stuck here, just look at it that way.
Well, they keep talking about those counties like joining West Virginia. I don't know if that'll ever happen.
You could. I mean, this is one of these. Like it won't. This won't happen. I'm not saying that it will happen, but like you could theory craft this where if you have a friendly Republican administration, you get these counties to cede and try to join the state. Obviously, Virginia will say no, you can't do that. In which case, you're saying that the court, in the end, that the United States government allowed you to do that. If they allowed the Greater Idaho Project to go through, if they allowed the border counties to switch over to West Virginia. I mean, it could happen. I don't think that people like Spanberger would have actual kinetic war with the United States government over the fate of like Page and Rockingham counties. But I don't think anyone in the Republican Party cares enough to do something like that.
They don't, dude. They're who was it? Jay Burden and I think can't remember who else it was. It's like talking about the Republican Sampson option. How they're just gonna like, I mean, for example, how they ran fucking that old Jamaican lady. They're not trying. They don't care.
That's like match fixing. That's someone should see if there's somebody made a killing on Polymarket over that, because like that's the only explanation for why. Oh well, I mean no, the real explanation is that Governor Youngkin sucked, which is a shame because a guy who's been his family is like. It's not. They weren't first family of Virginia, but they've been around since like the 17 or 1800s, and he's 6'7". That's a guy who should. I think might have been taller than that. That's a guy who, I think he was like 6'10". He should have been good. He should have been based, but he actually did absolutely nothing and just allowed. Like we were worse off by far than we were when he was running when he was running for governor.
Well, he really didn't do anything that I'm aware of, because I understand like he got in office off the steam of all that stuff going on in Loudoun County with the bathroom grapes that they tried to cover up. The school system did. I mean, that's the way I kind of saw it, like as an outsider looking in.
Which is, I mean, that's not funny, but it's funny that the public in 4 years later decided, all that's fine. All the stuff that came with the Attorney General, who also won, not in a landslide, but it was a very solid victory. It was like 8-point victory. They just decided, that's fine. We don't really care.
Then they ask him if like, were those? Did you really say that? And then he doubles down. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Which, hey, that fair enough. Why even hide it? You don't need to. This was a nice object lesson for everybody. It's there for everybody to see if they'll accept it. But most people are not emotionally prepared to accept it. I was discussing this with somebody the other day about, they were talking about Trump's posting about the Obamas as monkeys and how this is a bad thing. And I said, we live in Virginia. Who's the attorney general? Do you think any of this shit matters? No, nobody cares. This is all fake. It's just forget about it. He could, like Trump said in 2015 or 16, he could shoot somebody in Times Square and people would still vote for him. I mean, I would, depending on who he shot, I would have too. So,
is that naked cowboy still around up there? Remember that guy?
Have you ever been to New York?
Unfortunately.
Were you working up there?
No,
never.
just when I was younger, I used to travel more just for fun, and I also played a lot of Halo, so I traveled all around the East Coast going to Halo tournaments.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
I never. Sorry, go ahead.
That's where I discovered my great hatred for the city of Philadelphia. Also,
I was through Philadelphia when I was a kid. But I don't remember it. A couple years ago, I went through New York State, but I was on the western part. I got as close as I got was like Scranton.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Scranton,
Shithole.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's not too far from New York.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, but hey,
bad.
Dunder Mifflin's there.
Yeah, I was on the Joe Biden Memorial Highway at one point. That's the spit.
Dude, it's so funny how like the Pennsylvanians would eat him up when he would campaign up there. He's like, I'm a Pennsylvanian. I'm like, dude, you moved to Delaware when you were like real little. But he always comes back. He's like, I'm a Pennsylvanian, and they all eat it up.
Yeah,
what's funny? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say what's funny also, like just like the politics up there, like who's the Pennsylvania orc, John Fetterman.
Yes.
He used to be the mayor of a town like next door to where my wife is from, and wow, that town's a shithole.
His deal is he looks like a giant ogre and he dresses sloppy, but like his politics were pure Harvard progressive lib until he won, at which point I guess he pivoted to I guess he's really cares a lot about the Israel thing and kind of making moves to move to the center, I guess, to maintain his chances at staying in office. That's a pretty classic political strategy. I do respect that, but he's a very strange person. He's a strange person, period. But politically, he's very weird, like an endangered species. You just don't see very much anymore.
Yeah, I still have my tinfoil hat on. I think his wife was poisoning him, and that was the cause of his brain problems. Because once she started distancing herself from him, he started speaking more clearly. He started making good points. That
like
giant
worm tongue in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Like that giant knot on the back of his neck went away. That's just my tinfoil. I have no evidence of it.
Wasn't she like an illegal originally too? Something like that?
I think she was like a plant wife, kind of like Charlie Kirk's.
I'm not familiar with the lore on that one. Charlie Kirk's wife is like what?
I don't know the detail. I honestly, I'm low information going by memes I've seen online.
That's the best way to go through life, honestly.
But she was like a beauty queen or whatever, and then there's like some shady connections. Wasn't she in like wasn't a World Economic Forum commercial or something? She was in something too.
all these characters that like the guy that tried to shoot Trump stuff was in a commercial for
BlackRock.
BlackRock, yeah. Like there's all these there's like 1,000 people in the United States who are movers and shakers, and every one of them have connections to one of these groups, which makes sense. It make that isn't surprising, but it's food for thought.
It's a lot of convenience, but also then you see some of the Epstein stuff, and it's like, no, they really are all connected. Okay, that's interesting.
Have you delved into those files at all?
A little bit. Something I saw that was kind of interesting was Uncle Ted being a little vindicated by some of the people he sent presents to in the mail. Apparently, they showed up in there too. Some
of the people, the literal people that he mailed pipe bombs to, were. Emails.
Yeah, I think. Don't quote me on this. I think one of them was a kitty diddler, And then I think the other one was a college professor that was studying how you can like steal memories through cannibalism. Which, I mean, knowing how Uncle Ted thought, I could see that guy being a target.
Yeah, like, I I don't
Oh,
condone,
absolutely
but
not.
I understand. I do understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the guy, he had some interesting points, and I don't agree with the way he went about it, but, it's kind of weird that
You're
the
more of
man,
a moderate, yeah.
yeah, the way all that stuff he wrote about, he was kind of prophetic and like a lot of it coming true.
Yeah, the Epstein stuff, I'm sick to death of it.
Yeah.
You are, yeah. My colleagues, like, he's got very strong opinions about it. That I think that a lot of the people who consume online political media, they don't like that. Because his answer is basically it was a lot more boring than people want to admit. And but my thing is just there's not going to be anything in there. This is an actual distraction for people. I don't mean like a psyop. It's just if you like politics and you like this kind of stuff, people will tend to psyop themselves. They'll get distracted with crazy crazy fanciful ideas that that the world is more exciting than it really is. Like, yeah, there are a lot of the people who are in charge are some weird perverts who probably commit felonious sex acts, and I think they don't hide it all that well either. But it's not like a shadowy cabal. It's just the way that powerful people in a materialist society just behave because they can. Why would they? What morality restrains them? Christian morality? Half of them aren't even
Right.
nominally Christian, and the other half are just progressive, insane religious fanatics.
Yeah. One thing, did you see after the release, the Google search terms that went off the rails?
No, what were they?
It's like goyim, the word goyim just like spiked as like the top top Google search because people were Googling the definition of it.
Yeah, that is that is something that might be a genuine revelation to people that they just don't understand.
Yeah.
That there are people who just simply don't like you by default, and when they're talking amongst themselves, they don't have any problem voicing that. They're not even a little bit ashamed of it.
Yeah. One of my buddies I work with, like, I'm not trying to like throw a bottle of red pills down, but we talk about stuff. And over the course of like a couple of years, like I'll leave breadcrumbs and he'll just be like, you sound crazy. And then like he'll actually go and look into it and be like, holy shit, dude. He's like, you're right. But that's kind of how I feel about the Epstein stuff. Like I've followed, stuff for a while, and there's quite a lot of this. It's not new, but then like a lot of the other, I don't know if you call them normies or people that are just kind of like waking up a little bit or starting to like look into it. And they're like, did you know this? I was like, yeah, you guys called me crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, well, we remember Podesta stuff, and even if people don't care about that, I have harped on this a couple of times on the show, and I'll do it again now because I can't be stopped. In the 70s, there were major motion pictures were released that were like pedophilic in nature. I always talk about Pretty Baby because that's Brooke Shields was a very famous A-list actress, and when she was a child, they had her doing sexually explicit things naked, like 10 years old or something, 10 or 12 years old, and this was Roger Ebert rated this movie, right? It wasn't like something that you had to get in a brown paper bag in the dark alley. They were showing this shit in movie theaters. Now, this is one of the few places that we have actually progressed morally. Like that is less acceptable to the elites than it used to be, which is part of the reason why these scandals pop up. People do care about this, luckily, but I think that they underestimate how open and unconcerned that powerful people have been about this in very, very recent history.
Yeah, it's the other thing too is when you start noticing patterns, you just don't want to go too off the rails, but then it's like it keeps happening again, and you're like, every single time, huh?
Hit him with that Wikipedia check, yeah.
Yeah,
Like this is so obvious, and people. The problem with being with caring about current events, politics, or whatever, and being a like we'll just say Christian, because that's at this point it's like a either or proposition. You understand if you're a devout Christian in the United States in the 21st century that the culture, the people who are in charge, the oh, people are going to watch this, not just listen to it, right? So we don't need to describe that.
no, yeah,
Base. Yeah, everybody understands intellectually that the religion's under attack. People are trying to make our culture actively hostile to all the things that are good in life, but they kind of forget this when they're going about their day-to-day business and just kind of compartmentalize it. It's like this is something that's just hypothetical, abstract, rather than it is in the fabric of every single thing that happens around you. And so they kind of jump scare themselves when they start noticing things that are directly in front of them. Yeah, if your country goes from being like 95% Christian to 40%, yeah, those people don't have anything in common with you morally anymore. They'll do horrible things and feel no problem about it. And you know this intellectually, but it doesn't seep in, I guess, because everybody defaults back to whatever the environment was like when they were young, when they were in their formative years, and they just can't seem to grasp this. We always complain about boomers and their weird relationship with money, and they don't understand how inflation works or whatever. But everybody's like this one way or the other. You can't escape it.
Oh, absolutely, I agree. I just I'm guilty of that myself sometimes too, where I'm like, man, why can't I just go back to this or whatever? But oof, good luck with that these days. I mean, shit, dude, my favorite mom and pop restaurant back there is now an Indian restaurant, and I don't. You don't have to tell me on here. You can tell me after we're done recording. But I have a feeling I'm older than you, so I have a different view of the area back then growing up. But yeah, we didn't have Indians growing up.
Yeah, absolutely not. So we if you were born in the early '80s, we're about the same age.
Okay.
If you were born a little bit before that, we're different. But you're right. The Indians started really popping off. I would say, I first noticed them buying up like the gas stations and stuff in like, I don't know, 2006, 7, something like that. And then it's exploded. It's exploded since the last 10 or 15 years. They're everywhere. Like I think in our town, half of the gas stations, no more. More of them are owned by Indians than anybody else. Not just white people, but like any other kind of people. And there's no reason for that. The Indian population is basically nil, but they get sweetheart loans and they get free money. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, dude, look at Texas now. Like the Bank of Texas. Have you seen their board of directors?
Yeah, man.
No wonder
Way
Dallas.
worse.
No wonder like Dallas looks like I don't know. I can't even think of an Indian city to call it. It's so far out. I've never had my only interaction with Indians growing up was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Apu from The Simpsons. That was it.
Look, I don't accept the idea of mass immigration from Latin and Central America. It's very bad, but like at the very least, there is some iota of shared identity,
some similarity in a way, yeah.
Right, both because of a shared or at least similar religion, but other aspects too. These people are just from fucking outer space, and I had no real opinion about Indians until like 2 years ago. I just didn't think about them or anything.
Thanks,
I've never
Vivek.
seen. I've never seen a group of people make such a bad first impression on everybody. That's why I'm suspicious. If people say like they're going to take over, I don't think they will, because I don't think that they can make people like them enough to do that.
Well, that's why they're consolidating property and money and power now. These little enclaves, like they had that giant demon monkey god statue now in Texas. I think one of the biggest Hindu temples is in New Jersey now. Like that thing looks like it's like straight out like the Taj Mahal or something, but that's in like fucking rural. Well, I don't know if it's rural. May not be rural anymore. That I can't even think of the town. But yeah, it's
Look at the
wild.
demographics of Frisco, Texas. It's insane. That city is become Indian in a very short amount of time because of, I guess, tech work in Austin. And if like it's an open question whether or not like Chinese and other Eastern Asian people are legit better at like engineering and stuff like that than than
That's in
Americans.
New Jersey. That temple.
Yeah, man, that's. If I said what I thought about that, we get kicked off the air.
Yeah. Okay. I see eye to eye there.
In Minecraft. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, dude. I have no hope for this guy in Ohio that's running against Vivek, but he has been really entertaining to watch campaign.
Yeah, I think
What's
it's
his
a
name?
fake
Casey
campaign.
Bush.
Yeah, I think it's a
think
fake
it's-
campaign, but yeah. I don't think he really thinks he's going to has any chance whatsoever of winning. But hey, vote if you're listening and you're in Ohio. Yeah, vote for him anyway, because Vivek is horrible.
Yeah, he actively talking about how he's just going to bring in a bunch of more, a bunch more of his people to like
Yeah,
because Ohio people need lower property and they need jobs, so we're going to bring in more from the third world. How's that make sense?
I like everything about JD Vance that I've seen, except that he's this guy's friend and he's helping him, because like that's such a huge red flag. Why are you? I mean, I know why he's your buddy, but
Well, he named
this
it.
is
Didn't he name his son after him?
he did, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's like that. I do not like that whatsoever.
yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I got. Because otherwise, like JD's been spot on in a lot of his messaging. But yeah,
My
that's
fear
always
is
good.
my fear is that's what the Republican Party is going to do. We're going to do the ICE raids and we're going to be really strict on this kind of immigration. But on the other hand, we're going to flood the country with Indians because this makes our donors happy, and
And
they won't
Chinese.
commit. Yeah, and they won't commit crimes, which is true. They won't. But like what they do is worse than committing than committing crimes, because they're going to try to replace the native people in a way that what used to be Mexicans, Guatemalans, or whatever aren't trying to actually do. They're a burden financially, and they there's crime problems with them, but they're not going to try to take everything away from you. These people will. I guess the saving grace is, if you look down the road of what would happen eventually, I don't think that would go well for them. I don't think they have the juice to conquer people. There are some people who do. The Chinese have the juice to do that, I think.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what happens in a generation or two when their birth rate is so it's like way worse than ours. It's horrible. They have a demographic crisis brewing too. Maybe they look different on the other end of that, but now they have the stones to do that, and that's what it takes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially the Indians, like I can't remember who I was talking to somebody and he made a point like how uncompatible their culture is to ours. Like, us being like Christian country, Christian morality, and they believe in reincarnation. So they don't even have the same value of a human life that we do.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why they get hit by so many trains.
It was the lady from Red Scare, not Anna Kachayan, the other one, Dasha, was when at the height of all that Indian stuff was posting. You guys believe in reincarnation? Why sweat it? Just it'll be fine next time around. Which is I was like, it was really funny because yeah, exactly. None of this really. Well, I admittedly I don't pretend to know anything about Eastern. I put religions in quotation marks. I don't know or want to know about that stuff, but I mean, it's obviously, I could say more nice things about Islam than I could say about Hinduism. You know,
Yeah.
that says something.
Yeah.
At least they don't worship a fucking monkey. And the Chinese have their own monkey god too. I didn't realize. Well, Bald Beef and I were talking about that. What is it with these people worshiping monkeys?
Yeah, what is it? That Sun Wukong or whatever? Their monkey deity. I think they made like a video game about him.
They did,
recently.
yeah. Black Myth Wukong. I was shocked to find out that was not just like their version of King Kong or something. No, that's their version of Jesus. That's dire.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, that's going to be fun with all these military-age Chinamen that are in here now. I'm wondering if they're. I don't even know anymore. Like I used to be like really into conspiracy theories, and I just don't. I'm just so tired of everything. You know, I have two boys, and I gotta, you know, I have to be white pilled for them because you know there is optimism in their future. So I just don't want to be like the Debbie Downer all the time. So I got to model, masculine behavior for them.
Well, that's a great point there. A lot of the people who are doomers, who are actual black pillars, doom guys, they don't have kids, and I mean, you just having two boys is a white pill in itself. Like, yeah, life is going to be more difficult for them than it was for us. That's unfortunate, and it's true. But on the other hand, I don't know how old your kids are, but it doesn't really matter. They're going to have opportunities because the crown's going to be in the gutter pretty soon. Like that,
Yeah.
That's it's very obvious, and like the future belongs to whoever shows up, whatever the stupid saying is. Like that's absolutely true. And some people who black pill excessively, I think that's part of it. It's like it's a spiritual thing. You don't have hope for the future because you don't have a future.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot the point I was going to make. Guess it wasn't that important. Been a long day, buddy. But yeah, dude, I have to be optimistic, and like basically we grew up in a similar area, so take some of the wisdom from my parents and ancestors, and if there's mistakes they made, I could correct those, use the wisdom they passed down to me, and also use the fact that like I'm kind of like hip to what's going on now and how they're actively trying to replace us, and I can set up safeguards for my kids.
Yeah, the only value in knowing about this or thinking about it is so that you can understand what is going to be dangerous to you and yours. The rest of it is just entertainment, and sometimes the entertainment is fun, like when people were memeing about elections. Other times the entertainment is bad, like people there was a post that I saw on Twitter where this guy said that he has a kid who's like a toddler, baby age, I guess, baby, and he has one of those books that has the animals, and when you push the button, it makes the animal noise. And he said, my son will keep flipping to the snake page that has like an anaconda and push the button and it does a rattlesnake thing. And just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it until he starts crying because he's so scared. That is basically the essence of obsessing about politics. Like you're hitting that dopamine button to frighten yourself, and you can get caught in that cycle, and it's not useful whatsoever. You're doing the equivalent of hitting the rattlesnake button and scaring the inner baby within you.
Yeah. That's a good point. See, this whole stream wasn't completely doom-pilled.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
to really be doomed, you have to have hope. And if you give up hope for the Commonwealth, then you can't really be a doomer anymore, because
That's true.
You've reached samsara, or whatever it is they say. You become enlightened. You enter the nirvana of accepting your fate.
I was gonna say, what step is that of acceptance? Yeah.
It's the last stage of the cycle.
Hell yeah. Well, Mark, we're at time, man. Thanks for coming on. This has been a lot of fun. Just stick around after the recording. I got a couple questions.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, check out Maarek and Bog Beef, the Good Old Boys podcast. Really entertaining. Follow them on Twitter. I'll have once I upload it, I'll have all the links in there in the description. But yeah, follow these guys. Support their Patreon. I think you guys are covering the Rome TV show now, also on Patreon.
Yes,
Great
we
show.
are.
Great show.
Wonderful show. My favorite.
Hell yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in.